Good morning, Rabbi Isai. We're still at home, waiting for the quarantine time for my son to go away, which is just another day or two. Rabbi Isai, so yesterday, after Shir, as usual, I just schmooze around with the guys on Zoom, and I'm supposed to turn off the YouTube so it doesn't record all the shtusim that are going on, and I forgot to push the end button. So we're just schmoozing, and about like 15 minutes later I realized the mistake. It was still recording. So I figured to myself that I'm just going to tell Yosef and Gary, and by the time it uploads, it takes many hours for YouTube to upload. They'll edit it and everything is good. But then all of a sudden I started getting emails from people. One guy said, oh, let me read this email. This is from Ari Bloom from London. Rebelli, although I've not been able to watch the Shir live at the moment as it clashes with Mincha at the Garden Minyan, shuls are reopening in the UK, I still watch every day on Torah Anytime. Today's Shir was probably the best Shir I've heard from you. So I'm reading this like the best Shir. This is one of the worst probably. It didn't, by myself, no jokes, nothing going on. Best Shir. And then I read more. I finally got to hear the backstory behind MDY. So then I chop what was going on. There's a link that probably 100 or plus so people are able to watch YouTube even though it doesn't upload. So he watched it. So this is his favorite shir. Great. Nothing to do with the Gemara or anything. As a balabas in my early 30s, trying to grow a career and a family, both of which took a few years to get off the ground, that was a real Musar lesson for me. To me, you are someone who doesn't just talk about prioritizing important things, but actually practices it. A big yeshukayach for the inspiration, Hatzlacha, Ari Bloom. This is the Ari Bloom that gave us chizuk a few weeks ago, who said that for 15 years he hasn't had a streak like this, that he was learning. I don't know if you remember. He never went to sleep without opening up a Gemara for 3 weeks straight. I hope he's still going. I hope that streak is still going. Anyway, I got these other texts, Givaldik. So if you want to see it, it's on YouTube. It's a little bit embarrassing, but it's fine. It was Mesiach Lefitumai, not realizing that it's being recorded. The other thing we discussed the other day is about making peace with somebody in your life that maybe you're a little bit of a machlokes. So we got some emails on that as well. I hope Fivish sends me an email because he's telling us about something. He says like this Julian Shepherd, Yankel Shepherd. Hope you're well and your family. Straight after the shir yesterday, I phoned someone. Thanks. So he right away went and he called somebody up. Givaldik. That's what we're looking for. Then he goes on to say, why is it called a Talmud Chacham, not just a Chacham, because anybody can learn from everybody. During coronavirus, I learn every day the daf 4 times. Givaldik. Once prepare myself, you share as well, as another 2 shiurim on the daf. No, there's another 2 shiurim he listens to. Okay, we're not going to go there. What does chus you have? Atzlacha Yankel. One more. I love this. Oh, this is mamish. It doesn't do anything. Shalom, Adinenu, Moirenu, V'Rabbeinu, Harav Agoin Stefansky. Doesn't even say my name. He took out the Eli, B'dafka, I guess. That was the shtick. Instead of saying Eli, so he just went Shalom, Adinenu, Moirenu, Rabbeinu, Harav Agoin Stefansky. I just chopped that now. Okay, great shtick. This is from Rachamim Epstein. I hope you're doing well.
Your father.
Yeah, you could just insert anybody here. I hope you're doing well. My father was never at MDY, even though he lives 20 minutes away. I've been enjoying MDY so much the past few weeks, but in light of the recent surge in cases, I'm going to stop coming to shir for the time being. I completely understand you, Rachamim. It was actually tremendous chizuk to see you at MDY. I was getting worried about him because I didn't see him on Zoom. He had all these excuses. And then he showed up every day. But he's very makbid about the mask, and he's nervous about what's going on right now. While most people are doing well with wearing the mask, it's inevitable to come into fairly close contact with multiple people when walking between the tables. Also, a lot of people are not wearing masks while drinking coffee. Listen, it's very difficult to drink while you're wearing a mask. I agree. Don't worry, I intend to keep up with every dav b'li neder be'ezus Hashem. Baruch Hashem, I didn't miss a day during the time the Beis Medrash was shut down. Kol hakavod. Unbelievable. This is tremendous chizuk, for real. Because I didn't see him on Zoom. I don't think anybody saw him on Zoom or anywhere. There's no sign of Rachamim Epstein. He says he hasn't missed a day. Givaldik. May I have continued health, vigor, and siyat d'shmaya. Please Hashem, I look forward to returning when the situation calms down again. Best, Reese Epstein. Rachamim Epstein. Okay. Givaldik. Today is Daf Kuf Tes Zayin, and we're starting from the bottom of Kuf Tes Vav in the Beis, Tanu Rabbanon. Vayihi ben Aaron. Where's Judah? Anybody see Judah? This is a song you'd start singing. Vayihi ben Aaron v'chulu. Okay. Vayomer Moshe. Parsha zu osel HaKadosh Baruch Hu simani es milamalo lilmato. If you look in a Sefer Torah, you'll see that there are two upside down nuns in the beginning of the parasha and at the end of the parasha. Why? Machloikos. Loimar. Top of Kufta Zayin. So, today's shir, I have to get this out, sorry, is being sponsored by the Shuvu School Network fundraising campaign. www.charity.com/Shuvu in honor of the Talmidim at the school who've gone on to cover many dapim mishas, and by official catering, and L'Refuas Mrs. Epstein, Dr. Epstein's wife. I forgot her name. We'll get her name soon. All right. So it says like this. Why is Vayiben Tzar and upside down nuns in beginning and end? Loimar she'ein ze mekayma. This is not where it belongs. It's in the wrong place. We're going to see a lot more about it soon. In other words, the Gemara understands this parasha, when the Aron moves, should be when Klal Yisrael moves by the Golem. When Yehuda moves, then Reuven moves, then the Mishka moves. If the Mishka moves, it means the Aron itself. Rebbe Yomer, oh, I hear Yeshua coming in. I think it's him. Rebbe Yomer, loy min Hashem huzeh. It's not the real reason. Elo mibnei shesefer choshevu b'fnei atzmai. You should know that Vayihi ben Aaron, that small parsha, is a sefer to itself. What does that mean? It's a sefer to itself. Baruch Hashem, no, Yeshua, I have water. I hear you doing water. Everything is good. I got two waters. I have two. Thank you. I thought you were coming with some surprises: coffee, wine, cash.
Seth got his new Gemara from X.
Okay, Seth got a new Gemara from one of our devoted listeners. So thank you, devoted listener, for sending Seth a Gemara. I made the bracha before, Baruch Hashem. All right. So listen to this. We are familiar with Chamisha Chumshei Torah. We have 5 Chumashim. Says the Gemara, what we have now is more. We have another parsha that it's not a Chumash, a Shavias by itself. Chumash means a 5th. This is a 7th. It's a new Sefer. So if Bamidbar is Sefer number 4, and smack in middle Bamidbar you have Vayihi ben Aaron. So what you have here, Vayihi ben Aaron, is Sefer number 5. The continuation of Bamidbar is Sefer number 6, and the Varim is Sefer number 7. Kimanaz lahad Omer B'Shua, Omer B'Shmuel Banachman, Omer B'Yonason. Chatzva Amudeh Shiva. It says Chatzva Amudeh Shiva. What does that mean? In Mishlei, Elu Shiva Sifrei Torah. There's actually 7 Svarim. I don't know how we would say it. We would say, pass me the Shvias instead of the Chumash. I don't know what we do. It would be a problem. Keman Kirebi. Man Tana de Polgalei the Rebbe. Who's the Tana that argues on Rebbe? Rebbe Shimon Gamliel who? It's Rebbe Shimon Gamliel. Who's Rebbe Shimon Gamliel compared to Rebbe? Who is he? Where is he? So just so happens to be, I have this chart from yesterday laying around. So if you look closely, look who Rebbe Shimon Gamliel is. Rebbe Shimon Gamliel is Rebbe's father. Who's the Tana that argues on Rebbe? His own father. The Sanya Rebbe Shimon Gamliel Omer Asido Parsha Zu Shetei Aker Mikam V'Dikasib Imkayma. In other words, so we have a machlaikas. I'm
sorry to interrupt. Some people are complaining that the painting behind you is making a glare. Could you take it off?
This painting, Rabbi Isai, this painting, why is it here? It gives me a lot of comfort. This is from Avram Tikotsky. If anybody knows where he is, He gave me the painting and then he fell off the planet. I haven't heard or seen him since. But on day number 1 of Corona on Shabbos, Daf Yud Beis, when I came to my house and then I got this in the mail, this giant box showed up and it was like, it came at the right time. It's perfect timing. So I hung it up here because I'm back in my house. This time I'm not as upset as I was back then. This is different. But it's not, okay, we'll take it down, fine, yishkoyach. So, we have a machlokes. Is Vayibin Tzara in the right place? It's just its own parsha, or it doesn't belong there. It has nothing to do there. It's not in the right place. Says Reb Shimon Gamliel, parsha zu shtakim kaima kan uvikazim kaima. It needs to go somewhere else. It needs to go to the Galim. V'lama kasvakan. So why is it written here? Kedei lahafsik bein puranus rishono lepuranus shniya. So the Gemara is going to go on to describe that there are two not so nice situations in Klal Yisrael. First Puranus, second Puranus, a bunch of Yidden were killed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knocked out a bunch of them because they weren't behaving well. Says the Gemara, listen to this. If you're looking in the art scroll and you don't have my chart over here, you're not going to understand it 100%. So Baruch Hashem, we have a chart. It says, Puranus Shniya Maihi. What's the second one? Vayiya'am kimis oynanim. The nation complained about how hard it is to walk, and we're going in the desert. They start complaining, poof, they got punished. Puranus Rishayna, what's the first one? That's the Asafsuf. Vayisu Mahar Hashem, they were complaining about the meat, the lack of meat. What is this, all this mun? We had enough mun, so they started complaining about the meat. Hashem gave them a little punishment. Look at the psukim here for a second. Vayibin Tzarayin is over here, pasuk lamed hey. Misayninim is pasuk aleph in the next parak. Vasafsuf is after the Misayninim. The Gemara just said Asafsuf is before Misayninim, right? Besides, Vayibin Tzarayin is supposed to divide these two, go in between them. What in the world is going on here? You hear the dilemma. The Gemara says the whole parsha of Vayibin Tzarayin is to divide and separate two bad occurrences in Klal Yisrael. The Misayninim and the Asafsuf. Which one came first? Asafsuf. Which one came second? Misayninim. I'm quoting you from the Torah here. Pasuk Aleph is Misayninim. Pasuk Dalid, 3 psukim later, is Asafsuf. Not the other way around. Explains Rashi, the Gemara actually says, that we have to start the parak before. This pasuk, Vayisu Mahar Hashem, is actually the Asafsuf. That's the beginning of the meat. So now it makes a lot of sense. This is meat, this is Vayibin Tzarayin, and then you have the Misayninim. It works very well now. Vayisu Mahar Hashem. Here once again he takes the hay of Har and he puts in a ches. You could interchange a hay and a ches. Shesaru ma'acharei Hashem. That they went away from Hashem. Why? Because they asked for meat. Some explain they're like katinok habarech, maybe it's a sefer, like a child at recess running away. Where does it really belong? This whole parasha of Vayibin Tzarayin, Rav Ashi, Bad Galim. When it mentions how Yehuda they traveled first, and then Ruvain, and then immediately afterwards it talks about the Mishkan. But when the Mishkan travels, the Aron travels. So Vayibin Tzarayin, when the Aron travels, that parsha belongs over there in the Galim, nothing to do with over here. Brand new sugya, new Masechta, Rabbi Say, brand new. Iboilu. It was very, very nice to see Dr. Epstein. Where's Dr. Epstein? I saw him before. Here he is. Avram Epstein. It's very good to see you because I think for a few days you weren't on. It's good to see you. Dr. Shamroth. Shmuley Lemmer from Kensington is on. I don't know how this guy doesn't sleep. He's up at night, he's up in the day, he's up in all shiurim. Iboilu.
It can't be that my father-in-law missed the shir.
No? Okay, you're making him. I didn't see him, I said. I didn't say he missed. I didn't see him. He has a lot going on in his life right now, and I'm very happy to see him. It gives me a lot of chizuk to see him. Iboilahu. Avi, once you're on, you might as well tell me what your mother-in-law's name is. The shir is dedicated to her refuah.
Reza Gittel?
Reza Gittel,
Bas Esther.
Bas Esther. Dr. Epstein's wife, Reza Gittel Bas Esther, should have a refuah shlema b'karev. They live in my building, 2 floors directly below me. Ibailu. Halgilyanim shel Sefer Torah matzilin oisa mipnei adleika oy ein matzilin oisa mipnei adleika. The empty parts of the Torah. And Rashi goes on to explain that at the beginning of the Torah, you have X amount. At the end of the Torah, you have enough to go all the way around. There's just blank. Now, if you have blank parchment, but it's part of the Torah, but you have nothing else, do you save this Torah on Shabbos? Do you carry an over isser of carrying and bringing it to a mavi that doesn't have a eruv and the tirch of it? That's the question right now. We're going to go 3/4 down, a nice sugi about gilyonim. These, what is it called in English? No, what's the word? The stuff on the side, the blank on the side of the page. No? Somebody gave me a great word yesterday. I was looking for a word. My accountability was the word I was looking for, and instead they gave me the word commitment, whatever. Accountability, Leon, accountability. Anyway, the blank part of the Sefer Torah. We know what that is. At the end of the Sefer Torah, the beginning of the Sefer Torah, on top of every page, just blank everywhere. Do you save a blank Sefer Torah? Is that considered kadosh enough to save it from a fire? We learned yesterday a Sefer Torah that was worn out, and it has 85 letters. We had a machlokes, 85 in one spot, 85 all over the place. Kigoyin Parshas Vayim Tzayarin, that's how we introduced the whole Parsha Vayim Tzayarin. It has 85 letters. Matzilin. Then you go ahead and you save it. Vim Lav, and if you don't have 85, Matzilin. Ask the Gemara Vamai. Why is it if you don't have 85, you don't save? At the end of the day, even if it doesn't have 85 letters, you have all the blank spots. Says the Gemara, Balashani. If it's worn out, that's one problem. We're talking about that it wasn't worn out. Over there, everything wore out, so you don't even have parchment. There's nothing left. You barely have 85 letters. Over here, we're talking about a perfect piece of parchment. Comes from a Sefer Torah that somebody snipped it off. It used to be a Sefer Torah, but it's in good condition. Do you save a Sefer Torah? Toshma, Sefer Torah shenimchak. So over here, we cannot come up with excuse and the answer to say, oh, we're talking about a Sefer Torah that was worn out. Over here, it says specifically it wasn't worn out. It says nimchak, it was erased. Somebody took a perfectly good piece of parchment and erased it. So now, but it's the same halacha. If you have 85 letters, kigoyin parshas vayivin tzayarin matzilin. Oh, bimlav matzilin. If you don't have 85, you don't say vamai tepiklei mishum gilyon today. Ask the Gemara, not gilyon that we had until now, but the the parchment underneath the letters, that itself should have gedusha. I wrote letters. How come the part that I wrote on doesn't have gedusha? Says Gemara, very interesting. That's not such a big problem. So Gemara wants to make a nice lamda shachab. I don't understand it 100%. But the Gemara wants to say that when I write a letter on a piece of parchment, so that piece of parchment becomes kadosh because I wrote a letter on it. If I take away the letter is gone, then the kedusha in the parchment is gone. It's only kadosh as far as I have a letter. It only became kadosh because I put a letter on it. I wrote something on it. Whereas the blank parts of the Sefer Torah have kedusha regardless of the letters. There are no letters. You made it kadosh because that's part of the Sefer Torah. So therefore, if you take away the letter, then whatever's underneath the letter, I could understand logically that the kedusha goes away. My question is regarding the top part of the Sefer, the lower part, between the parshiyas, shebin daf l'daf, shebetchilas ha-Sefer, and beginning all the way before Bereshis, there's an empty part that could roll around the Eitz HaChaim. Shebesayf ha-Sefer, that could roll around the entire Sefer. At the end of the day, v'tevik glei mishumahu. So let's prove from here that at the end it should be Kaddish because of all this blank stuff. Why is it not Kaddish? Says Gemara, the guy is Vishadi. We're talking about an interesting case where there's nothing left. The guy chopped, he chopped all the blanks out. What do you have left? Only words. Now the obvious question is, and in Baruch Hashem I found it in the Rashba, how do you chop all the words everywhere? What? There's nothing between line to line? Says the Rashba, all those empty spaces between line to line are not included. That's all considered part of the writing. Because you need blank spaces between lines. Otherwise you can't write. You can't put word on top of word. We're talking about the real serious blanks in a Sefer Torah. That's gone. That he snipped away. In that case, is this Sefer Torah, are you matzel it or not, even though it doesn't have blank spots? Toshma. Hagilyonim shel ma'ala v'shel mata. Now we're talking about the blank spots. Shebein parasha leparasha, shebein daf ledav, shebetchilas ha-sefer, shebesoif ha-sefer. Mithamem esayidayim. All the way in the beginning of the Masechta, there's literally 3 days like into leaving the Beis Medrash, being here by myself in my house. The sugya of the Shmoina Asar Davar, the 18 enactments of Beis Shammai over Beis Hillel. Remember, they went in the attic, they beat them. One of them was that if you touch your hand, that's why today we use our talis. You know, when the guy does a bad hagba, you start fiddling around with the cloth, with your talis, because you're not allowed to touch the Sefer Torah with your hand. And if you do, you become tameh. You have to go to the mikvah. The Sefer Torah, which is Kaddish, makes you tameh. But it says, what makes you tameh? All the blanks, all the white, no letters at all. Shebesoif ha-sefer, the tchilas ha-sefer, the top of the daf, under the daf. Mitam seidai. No. So you see from here that it has Gdusha. If it's able to make your hands tameh, then it has Gdusha. If it has Gdusha, you have to save it. Says the Gemara, Dima Agav Sefer Torah Shani. Maybe we're talking about an entire Sefer Torah that has all the words necessary, and you're touching like by Hagba. Where do you touch? You don't touch letters, you touch the blank part, right? The top. But it's Kaddish because it has all the other words. I'm asking you a question. What if you have a blank piece of parchment that was snipped off a Sefer Torah that was in good condition? No other letters now. It's all by itself. Do you have to save it or not? I don't have an answer yet. Tashma. Hagilyonim v'sifrei minim. Oh, so now we're going to a sugya of sifrei minim. What's a min? An apikairis. It's very interesting. The Menachem Mata, the official corrector of the shir, the official Balkaira of our shul, he told me that his grandfather bought a Sefer Torah he brought into Eretz Yisrael a Sefer Torah, and there was a whole expose about how all these Sefer Torahs that came from a certain city were written by Mechalei Shabbos and Kaifrim in Europe. And he realized that his Sefer Torah was one of those. And they took the Sefer Torah and they buried it. It was a business. These guys were smoking cigarettes on Shabbos and writing Sefer Torahs. That's what they did in Europe. So, if you have a Sefer of a min, it's a big problem because maybe, first of all, A, he's not being mechaven during Shem Hashem. B, he might be mechaven to Avodah Zarah during Shem Hashem. It's even worse. But it also says here the word gilyonim, the blank spots. So it says, Mefurish. You don't save it. You let it burn. Let Hashem's name burn. Did not real Hashem's name. The Hashem's name written by Apikairis. I heard from Shmuley Bornstein that the word min, the Ritva says, he brings a Rashi somewhere, it's not found by us, that the word minim, was actually removed from Rashi because it stands for mitalmidei, mem mitalmidei Yeshu Hanotzri. Yashkes Talmidim. Okay, that's the word min, and that's why they removed it from Rashi. That's what the Ritva says. They had by the censor, they censored it out. My love Gilyonin, the Sefer Torah. So he's saying that Gilyonim are, what's Gilyonim? Our question right here. It says Mefurish that a Gilyon, a blank space, you don't save, you let it burn. No, Gilyonim the Sefer Minim. It goes together with a Sefer Torah written by a min. As the Gemara, but that doesn't make sense. Hashta Sefer Minim Gufayim Etzilim. If a min wrote Hashem's name, Bereshis Barley Kim is Hashem, everything, you burn it, you let it burn. So certainly the white spots, if you're going to let Hashem's name burn, so certainly the blank. Hachi Kamar. Sifrei Minim Harem Kil Gilyonim. What it's trying to say, yes, exactly that. It is talking about Sifrei Minim. It's to tell you it has zero value. It's like a blank piece of parchment, let it burn. Fine. We don't have an answer. Gufa. Hagilyonim Sifrei Minim Ein Matzilin Oisim V'nei Adleika. A Sefer Torah written by a min, by an apikoros, you don't save it from a fire. Why? Because there's no Shem Hashem. The Shem Hashem is nothing. He had zero kavana for sure, and he might have worse than zero kavana. He might have had a bad kavana. Rabbi Yossi Omer b'choil koider sa'as kodesh ben begoizam. Comes to Rabbi Yossi, he argues. He says what you need to do is in the weekday, take the Sefer Torah, go through the entire Sefer Torah, and snip out every time you find Hashem's name. Take that out, and then make a big barbecue and throw the Sefer Torah in there and burn it. Biyodayim. You burn the Sefer Torah. V'goinzam, you bury it. Vashar soifrim, yeah, you do burn it. You bury the Shem Hashems, all the Shem Hashems you bury and you burn it. Omer Tarfin, a kapach is bonai. So this is a lashon, a language that's only for Reb Tarfin in all of Shas. Anytime you see a kapach chesbana, it's only Reb Tarfin. He says it a number of times, and he's basically swearing in the name of his kids. I won't have children, I won't have sons. It's not true. You don't take out Hashem's name. You burn it with Hashem's name. Which is very interesting. One of the Gemara says that he actually didn't have children. It's like, what the pasuk over there, that it just comes out, it came out from him from a gadol, we had it a few days ago. It comes out and it remains. That with Rav, when Shmuel hurt Rav's feelings and he said you're not going to have sons, same kind of thing. It's just if this kind of Sefer Torah comes to my hand, I'm going to burn it as is with Hashem's name. Listen to this. Even if a person runs after me, Rebbe Tarfine, to kill him, and one of these crazy snakes we had in the other sugi is coming to bite him, it's preferable to jump into a place of idol worship. You don't go into a min's house. You have an option. Go into this place with Avodah Zarah. Go into Apikoros' house. You go into the Avodah Zarah. A guy that's a min, he grew up in yeshiva, he knows what's right and wrong, and he goes off the derech. But these guys, they were brought up a certain way, so they're not going to take you down. You put me, you know about me, Hashem, and where do you put me? You threw me behind the door. The famous Saita. Person suspects his wife of being mizana. He warned her, Eidim, she was nistar. You give her water with Hashem's name. You take Hashem's name and you put it in the water, and it dissolves in the water. So Kosh Baruch Hu said, I'm willing to dissolve my name so that there should be peace between a husband and a wife. These kaifrim, what are they called? The guys that run around the whole day and try to get Jews for whatever. So what are they doing? They're trying to put kinna.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Mormons.
No, but they're called missionaries. Missionaries. Their job is to convince you to leave Yiddishkeit. Kinna, Eva, Tachrus. To put a wedge between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Certainly, you could erase Hashem's name. David, the famous pasuk, Haloi, Misanecha Hashem Esna. David HaMelech says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I hate the people that hate you. I'm going to fight the people that stand up against you. Tachlis sinos sinaisim. The most sinner possible, I hate them. Lo'ivim hayuli, they're going to be my enemies. Okay. Now, according to Rabbi Yossi, that we had before, the first shita, that if you have the Sefer Torah of a min, what do? You snip out all of Hashem's names. If it comes to...
Yoshua reminds me that he's the missionary for the daf.
Not a joke. You tell Yeshua last night on Zoom, there was a guy, you're not going to believe the story. I'm not making this up. Everybody that was on Zoom last night knows I saw a guy here that was on Zoom. Chaim Yitzchak, he was on Zoom. He'll testify that I'm not making this up. A guy was on Zoom, and he's sitting there, and he says, I want to tell you how I found your shir. No, how did you find? He was sitting shiva for his father, and a guy comes in and says, listen, you gotta hear this daf yomi shir. I look at him, I said, you're talking about Yeshua Aaron Price? I mean, who in the right mind, at a shiva house, I've heard of guys walking over to the guy sitting shiva a day after his father. Hey, by the way, is your house for sale? You looking for a shidduch? I've heard that. But to tell a guy to go to daf yomi shir during shiva, that I've never heard. That is the first time I've ever heard it, and that is exclusive for Yeshua Aaron Price. Who is this guy, Rabbi Isai? Yitzi Fine's brother from New York. You guys remember Yitzi Fine, the Chassidish guy with the payas that comes to the shir? His brother. So he was converted during his own father's shiva. He's sitting on the floor, and without any busha, Yeshua Aaron Price convinced him, but he hasn't missed the daf since his father's ptira, which is what, I don't know, 5, 6 months, half a year ago, who knows when. It was before brachas. No, more than half a year. It was before brachas, way before brachas. Yeah. Okay. Maisa Shahaya from last night. You're telling me that he's a missionary? I'm telling you a Maisa. Says the Gemara, it was worth it, even though we're going to go over now by 2 minutes. Because I had the whole cheshbon, how I'm going to be here and there, and then I didn't have this Maisa in there, so this is another 2 minutes. Fine. See, here's what's going on here. If I give a guy, Rabbi Yossi holds, if somebody gives me a Sefer Torah min, take a scissors, snip out all Hashem's name, bury them, burn. But if I see a fire coming to burn the Sefer Torah, I'm not mechuyev to go save it. I see a flood coming, I'm not mechuyev. You hear what's going on here? If it's in your hands, save Hashem's name. But if there's a natural cause, that's the pshat over here. Fine. Anything that is going to destroy. I had a corny story here, but I'm not gonna save it because I just said the other Maisa. So we'll have to switch. This Be'avidon, there's a bunch of jokes about the debates between the priest and the Jews. So there's a whatever. I was scared to say it because no one's gonna yell at me. It's a corny one, whatever. So there's a place, a debate hall. It's not a church. It's not a Makam Avodah Zarah. Debate hall. So halachically, I could go in there to debate. And these guys, these characters, they have their own svarim. They always whip out the Sefer Torah. They have their own Sefer Torah. Who writes it? They write it. So could you save it or not? Says the Gemara in Velav V'Rafi B'Yadei. Yes and no. And he wasn't sure. Very interesting. Yesterday I did a search in the Bar Ilan. How many times does it say in Shas, in Velav, V'Rafi B'Yadei? He said yes, and he said no, and then he wasn't sure. So we had it 2 daf ago, daf Kuf Yud Gimel, and only another 2 times in Shas. But what I found fascinating, I don't know if it's that fascinating, but 3 out of the 4 times, as soon as it says, in Velav, V'Rafi B'Yadei, the Gemara says, Itmar, Omer Rav Nachman, Omer Shmuel. 3 times, 3 out of the 4 times, and says a completely different thing. One time it talks about kivay that we had in the other sugi about the loom. Another time I'm a kaddish beidechad. The other time moisish lishvach. But it was just interesting. 4 times in Shas and 3 out of the 4 times it says itmar Omer Rav Nachman Omer Shmuel. Fine. It was like Ravina and Rav Ashi, when they wrote those words, it triggered a memory. They remembered about Rav Nachman and Shmuel. I have no idea. I just thought it was funny or interesting. Says the Gemara. In Velav Rafi, he wasn't sure that he saved the debate hall Sefer Torah. Rav lo yazil be'avidon, the Gemara tells us Rav never went there. It's dangerous to go there. You could get killed. If you win, they'll kill you maybe. V'kolchkin lebei natzrifein, certainly not a place of worship. Shmuel lebei natzrifein lo yazil, Shmuel never went to the worship place. Lebei avidon nazil, he had no fear. Omer leila Rava, my time lo yazil lebei avidon. How come you didn't go to the hall? Omer lahu, diklo planyo iki ba'archa, v'kashali. There's a crazy tree on the way, and I can't get there. So they tell him, Niakre, well, what's the problem with the tree? We'll uproot it. So he tells them, Duchte kashali. The ground is going to be now. If you uproot the tree, so remember a Maisa, I have to tell you, it's also one of these corny things. There's a guy that went to yeshiva, he wanted to get accepted to the yeshiva, so the yeshiva tells him, sorry, I don't have room in the base measures, it's just packed. So he says, what's the problem? I'll bring a chair and a stender from my house. I'll sit down. She says, no, but the dining room. There's no room in the dining room. So the guy says, so I'll take out. I don't need to eat in the dining room. He says, yeah, but the dormitory is full. So he says, I'll sleep by my sister. She lives around the block. So he says, but the shiurim are in Yiddish. He says, I understand Yiddish. He says, listen, I see you don't even understand English. How do you understand Yiddish? So that's what's going on over here. There's a tree in the way. There's a tree. So they say, but I'll get rid of the tree. He says, no, the dirt, it's going to be bumpy. The Kitzer, he was trying to be politically correct with them, and he said, I don't want to come. I'm not interested in going there. So he came up with some excuse. There's a tree, there's a this, there's a that. Marbar Yosef Omar, ano minayu ano. So Marbar Rav Yosef says, I'm one of them. I know these guys. I'm not scared of them. V'lo mistafina minayu. Not worried at all. I grew up in the hood. I'm fine. It's not a problem. I got an email. The guy, somebody who said, a rabbi shouldn't do gang signs. It's not right. Take that out. Fine. Taking it out. I just erased that line before. Ikke Shalom Devisu, Ima Shalom Devisu. Says the Gemara, amazing story here. The mother of Shalom Devisu, her name was Shalom Devisu, the Rebbe Eliezer, she's the mother of Rebbe Eliezer. Achasi the Rebbe Gamliel Have. She's a smart woman, the sister of Rebbe Gamliel. Havahu philosopha b'shivusi. There's a philosopher, like in the Hebrew, philosopher in the neighborhood. Bekitzer, he's a judge, he's a philosopher. Today's turning of the page, Chas v'Shalom, not the page itself. Today's turning of the page is by Harav Fishel. He's right over there. Official Grows from Official Catering in Baltimore, does wonderful stuff. I found this very interesting. He tried to advertise about himself. He tried to make himself a reputation that he doesn't take any bribes. You can't get him. Now, obviously, a guy that has to make a reputation like that, he takes bribes. So, they wanted to make a joke out of him. They wanted to expose him and make fun of him. So, the sister of Rebbe Gamliel, she sent him a beautiful golden candelabra. And then once he received the bribe, then they went to them as a din Torah. Our father died, I want Yerusha. What's the problem? 50-50. So Gamliel opens his mouth, he says, in our Torah, if there's a son, there's no Yerusha for a daughter. He remembered he just got a menorah, so he says, oh no, I'm a min. There's a new book. In the New Testament, it doesn't say anything about the boy getting. The son gets just as much as the daughter, you're fine, you get 50%. The next day, Rebbe Gamliel himself sent him a white Bentley. In those days, this is the top of the top, the best donkey of the donkeys. A white Chamr Luva. Amar Lahu, and then they go in again. Shafil is the Sefer the Sifra. Rebbe Gamliel says, did you see the end of your book that you're talking about? I forgot. I actually have a verse in the New Testament that says literally these things. I forgot about this. I'm just realizing now. It's a good kasha on a lot of Christians because it says in the New Testament you cannot change even one thing of the Old Testament. So maybe he's basing it on a real thing. I don't know. But it says, check out the end of the book over there. It says, if there's a son, there's no Yerusha for daughter. Sorry, he himself was saying it. This judge is proving from his own book that there's a Yerusha for a boy and not for a girl. So all of a sudden, she has to stick in. Your light shall light up. In other words, she's hinting to him. She didn't say, hey, I gave you a golden menorah. That's not proper. But she said, your light. Remember the light. Amalei Rebbe Gamliel, and Rebbe Gamliel hinted back, Osa Chamara, the donkey came, Ubatash L'Shraga, and blew up the candelabra. In other words, I win, I gave a better present, a Bentley, outdoes a golden menorah, and therefore I win. And everybody heard about the story, and they exposed this bad guy. Why don't we read? We said in the Mishnah, you don't read Ksuvim. So, Rabbi Schoenberg sent me an email yesterday, one of many, that says that they used to read Torah, Nevi'im, Ksuvim. So Torah, Nevi'im we have today, we read the Torah, then have Torah as Nevi'im. But Ksuvim also they would read. And because of this whole thing that people loved ksuvim so much, mishlei shirim, koheles, the whole thing. They said we go to only drushes. So what they did was they instituted that when the person darshans, he starts off with a pasuk from ksuvim and kind of intertwines it. Like today, you go to any bar mitzvah, it says in the pasuk lech lecha ma'artzecha, and lech lecha is gematria, the chasan bar mitzvah, and the father's also lech because of that. You try to somehow connect the pasuk. There's no shaykhs to no chazum. They were able to do it, so they had ksuvim. And therefore he says that's where we got the Medrash Tanchuma and the Medrash Rabbah that always start off with one pasuk of Ksuvim. And that's why we have a minhag today that even in Europe, the Rabbanim started with Ksuvim. And that's why the Hasidim all have the minhag that in Shal Shudas, the Shal Shudas Torah starting with Psukim. Fine. Ushmul Omar, so Ella Omar Rav, Leishon Bizman Beis HaMidrash. This whole thing is when people are supposed to go to Shul and learn. But when people don't go to the shul, in other words, after the meal, they're already drunk, says Rashi, they already had enough to drink, they're not going back to the Beis Medrash, you can sit back on your couch and relax and read Ksuvim. Eini v'nardo asri the Shmuel avo, v'nardo paske sidro b'Ksuvim, b'menchasa the Shapso. What do you Shmuel just said you don't do this. Al shaloi b'zman Beis HaMidrash, korin, Shmuel Amar, that you never read. Shmuel says you never read Ksuvim the whole day, but in Shmuel's place, they would read it by Mincha. We have to say that doesn't mean at the time of the drasha. It means in the Beis HaMedrash. So when the rabbi is speaking, you know how those people, the rabbi is speaking, they open up the Chumash, they start doing Shnai Mikra. Don't do that. Whether it's in the Beis HaMedrash itself or not, Bizman Beis HaMedrash, at the time of the speech, even if you're at home, don't read, because you need to be in the Beis HaMedrash. Shalai Bizman Beis HaMedrash, Kairin. Vaz the Shmuel Tamei, and Shmuel goes according to his own shita, the Benardo, Paski Sidu Ksuvim, B'Mechasa the Shapso. And that in Narda, where he was from, they used to say Ksuvim, because it wasn't at the time. Ravashi Omar, Lo Olam Kedam Morami Kara, that Shmuel said it's usher all day long to read Ksuvim. Ushmuel Kirebi Nechemia. And Shmuel holds or giving Nechemia the Sanya Ava Bishamru Kisvi HaKodesh and Karim Behem. Even though they said you're not allowed to read from Ksuvim, Aval Shoynim Behem V'Darshin Behem. You're allowed to say the Medrash of the Ksuvim, which is the Medrash of Shir HaShirim, says Rashi. Nitzrach LaPasuk, if you need a pasuk, maybe V'Royaba, you're allowed to take out a Sefer Shir HaShirim and look up the pasuk to see how it fits in with the Gemara, etc. Why did they make this halacha? Not like we were saying that you should show up to the drasha, for a different reason completely. Says the Gemara, new reason. We don't want people to read Shitrei Hadyotais. And people say, if they don't allow us to read Ksuvim, so certainly not other shtarais. What's a Shitrei Hadyotais? So over here Rashi says, even letters. So Tosfos says that Rashi took it back, and that Rashi says it's only a shtar of business, Mekach u'Memkar. And he says even Rashi himself took it back. But if you look at all the way at the end of the Tosfos, the Ramaz and Kolshim Shitrei Hadyotais, it's not the place to go into it. Maybe when we get to that sugi of Shitrei Hadyotais, he says that if you're reading a book, does he say about that a book about a war book, history book about war. He says, "Afilu b'chol," even in the weekdays. Lo yoda rimi hitter. Who allowed you to read a book about wars? Harry Potter. The Havali Kimoshech Leitzim. It's like just Litzanos. So anyways, we're not going to go into that. It's a whole sugya. If you're allowed to, you're not allowed to. A newspaper, not a newspaper. Fine. But here's a Tosfos just to start thinking about it. Says the Mishnah, Matzilin Tika Sefer Masefer. Sefer Torah has a mantle, it has a case. Not only are you saving the Sefer Torah itself, you could carry the case out with it. V'tika Tfilin, Imat Tfilin, and so too the Tfilin as well. The case of the Tfilin. V'av api shesh b'toichem mois. Somehow you put money in there, you weren't supposed to, but there's money. So on Shabbos you're allowed to carry money. It's also to carry money. It's a muktzah machmas gufa. It's one of the worst muktzahs ever. There's rarely a heter to carry it. But over here you're allowed to carry it because he's trying to save the Sefer Torah. And where do you carry it to? Says the Gemara, Mavoi she'en mafulish. So here's a mavoi, a courtyard. The different chatzeres go into the mavoi. We'll have more of it in the Gemara. There's mafulish, not mafulish. If it has a lechi standing up, a kaira, lechi, b'mseir oimer, afli mafulish. So we'll see in the Gemara what that means exactly. Ton Rabbanan. Abba asar shechali is b'Shabbos. So we're starting a sugya that the Gemara is going to bring at the end from our Mishnah Araya. It's not really related to Shabbos. Abba asar shechali is, we'll just do a minute or two because we're already at 8 o'clock. So when you have a carbon Pesach on Erev Pesach, which falls out on a Shabbos, you're allowed to do shechita because even though it's Shabbos, it's for Pesach. You're allowed to start flaying the hide. But how much? Why are you flaying the hide? You're flaying the hide because you need to get the imurim out. You have to be makriv the imurim. So mafshidin is ha-pesach ha-dechaza. But you can only remove the hide up until its chest. You can remove everything. Now the problem is chachamim. What heter do you have to continue removing the hide? To do what is necessary to remove the emurim, I have already have access to the animal. I could get in there. I don't have to take it all the way off his head. What's the reason that they say you're allowed to go all the way? Everything Hashem created is for His honor, for Hashem's honor. I don't want this animal to be exposed to the hide. It's going to cause the animal to smell, to spoil. If you remove the hide, it lasts longer. It's not proper that an animal that you shechted for Korban Pesach should be laying around there like a dead animal, like a corpse. What's the difference between the two? Just finish until this end of the line. If it's on top of a golden table in the Beis HaMikdash, then I don't have the problem that it looks like an avela. It's not an avela, it's on a beautiful table. If it has a perfect wind, a northern wind, says Rashi, it's not too cold like the eastern wind, but it's just right, not cold, not hot, then it's not going to spoil. So I don't have the problem with spoiling. But it's still, according to Rava, looks like an avela, so I have to remove it according to Rava. But according to the Mandam, it says that I'm worried about a stench of it spoiling, then I don't have the problem because I have a nice refrigeration air that comes out of the north. All right. Noam.
Shir Malois, Mimama Kinko Sikadonai.
Shemas Ma'am, Adoi Noi. All right, I'm going to try really hard to remember to cut off the YouTube in a minute or so.
Really have a great day. Everyone have a great day. I have to go to Yerushalayim.
All right, Yosef.
Yeah, you didn't say have a wonderful day.
Oi, I didn't say have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day. Have a gewaldige wonderful day. Yitzchak Chaim, what are you doing? Yitzchak Chaim, you're online again. In the evening, you're doing Chazara? What are you doing? You're listening to it twice or you don't plan on being on there tonight?
So I'll be honest with you, it's like, before I came on the shir and everything, for me reading Gemara and everything is like, it's hard. It's like, it's like, I read A, B, by the time I read C, I forget A. So when the way you do it, I don't know, it's like, you kind of make it simple. So it's like, I see the work, and it's like, gets in my head. So it's the first time I'm enjoying it. So it's very, very...
Shkoyach Yitzchak Chaim, thanks. So you're going to be on tonight, you're saying. That's what you're saying. I'm going to shut it off.
What do you mean tonight?
At the night chair, because I saw you at the night chair the other day. Oh, last night.
In the afternoon, you mean?
Yeah, for you it's the afternoon.
I wonder